deliver. 9:30 in the morning is crazy.
Wild.
Bro, and y'all had to be there at 5? That
Call time was 5:15. It was insane. Just and it came and went so quick. Last year it was 1 p.m. So people had woken up a little bit, but the people showed up. We sold out the building, and I can't ask for anything more.
Exactly. Those are the struggles we don't see, y'all.
Right? Yeah.
They gotta get there 5 to 15 in the morning and attack each other.
That's insane.
It's the American dream.
So, well, you were with us, I believe, in January. You're still relatively new to this, as you were telling us. Why do you think you've had so much success?
I feel like my success has a lot to do with how authentic I've been. I'm not playing wrestler, I'm playing Oba, I'm playing myself. If you just be yourself, people can bite off of that way more than they'll bite off of you pretending to be something you're not.
Exactly.
So be authentically you, and even if you don't have so many people gravitating towards you, you're going to have that niche fan base that you know that they're here because of you and because you are who you are. So be yourself, that's the long story cut short.
Exactly.
Absolutely, man. And we, like I said, we were a Stand and Deliver. The triple threat that you guys put on, it really had the feeling of a big time fight. Just the presentation, everybody bringing it. We know you've had your battles with Trick Williams. Talk to us a little bit about what it's like being in ring with Javon Evans.
I can't lie, I doubted that boy. A lot of people have said, because I called him a child, a lot of people are like, well, you're just 5-6 years older than him, but you have to understand that in wrestling years, that's a lot. There's a huge difference between a 26, 27-year-old to a 19, 20-year-old. You're just in two very different phases of life. When I was his age, I was in college, I was probably a sophomore or freshman. And for him to be where he's at his age, I have to say now I'm impressed. He made me a believer. I do believe that he is the future. We're stuck in the present is Oba Femi, but he is the future, and I'll give him his flowers. I take my hat to Javon Evans.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, man, the dude's going places. I had a chance to talk to him last night, and humble dude doesn't know how good he is, and that's that's a beautiful thing when you can still have your head on your shoulders and everybody telling you you're the man.
Sure.
But right now we are in the present. We are in the presence of the ruler.
The ruler. So, as you look over the NXT landscape, you just had your triple threat match, kind of disposed of those two opponents. Who are you looking at now as someone who could be ready to step up to you and challenge you for that title?
I'm the champion. It's not my job to look for who is stepping up. It's their job to look to me and step up.
Okay.
It's that whoever comes and steps up to the plate is whoever I'll face. As long as you can earn your way to the title opportunity, I'm good. Any man living, breathing, as long as you breathe there, Oba Femi will face you. As long as you earn it.
That's what's up.
Damn, I breathe air.
So you want something?
Chill out. Something that I don't think the last time we spoke, I don't think I asked you this question because I can't even remember a major move being done on Oba. But is there any moves out there that you're not really a fan of taking? Like they're just like, all right, here come these kicks, or like anything where you gotta brace yourself a little bit?
I think in general, apron bumps. I have a specific problem with apron bumps because the way it registers in the mind of some professional wrestlers, I don't think it quite resonates with the people at home. The risk to reward ratio is not very optimal. I don't think so. Some people don't even know it's a harder part of the ring. So when you take those bumps in your mind, you're like, oh wow, they understand that I'm injuring myself, but some of the fans don't quite understand that. So it sucks for me when I take it knowing that.
And you know, you did, like I said, you were on the pod earlier a few months ago, and you did answer this question, but now we have a whole new, people out here who may not have heard this. Who were some of the big men? You told us that some guys go down to NXT, some of the big fellas, and kind of teach you guys how to wrestle big men style. Who were some of the guys that you were saying kind of helped you?
So for me, it was Coach Bloom is the biggest one. He's our head coach at the Performance Center.
You guys know him as A-Train, Prince Albert.
A-Train, Tensai, pick one,
Tensai.
Albert, whichever. He's done a lot for me. You know, he took me under his wing. He saw potential where it was, and he met me where I was and helped me get to where I needed to be. Of course, Ivar has been running a big man class at the Performance Center for the past like 2 years now. So every Wednesday, me and Ivar, we sit down, we watch film. We talk about what to do, what not to do, and I had the privilege of wrestling him at Spring Break-In last year. So props up to Ivar. Dijak and Josh Briggs were also another group of people that like really helped me, especially when I worked with them at Stand and Deliver last year. So I would say those four are the biggest influences when it comes to working the big man style, and it's obviously it's helped me get to where I need to be.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Now, speak a little bit on. You just spoke about the big men that you get your experience and you get most of your gems from. Who are some people in your life that without them you wouldn't be the Oba that we know today? Some personal people that helped you on this journey to get you where you are.
Are you talking about people from like past life, even like before wrestling, or like?
Yeah.
Parents. Mother, father, especially mother. She was always there. Dad would always go out and work. So mom is the one I got the most face time with. My mother has been so helpful. She gave me the childhood that even when I didn't deserve it. She made me feel like things were better than they actually were, even when they were hard. So shout out to my mother. My best friend David. He was the one who kind of kept my head in check because. The ruler does some ruler things, and there are certain settings where you're not meant to be the ruler. So shout out to David for putting me on track. He was always the voice of reason in my life. My coach at Alabama, man, I don't know what to do without him because he was the one who made me a great shot putter. That's a life before wrestling, but that was at some point that was my life. Shot put and the Olympics, that was what I wanted to do. So shout out to Derek Yosh, Coach Yosh. He's been a huge influence.
That's what's up.
Listen, when y'all boo, this is the man y'all booing. Remember that. All right, that's a great answer. Never boo the ruler.
You mentioned going to Alabama. You played track and field, and my thought was, I can't believe Nick Saban didn't come to your dorm room and say, "Come follow me." And you said no one ever approached you about football.
I mean, it was always going to be tricky because because I grew up in Nigeria, we don't play football.
Yeah.
It was soccer, football, different football we played. But I'd never played football, I had zero experience. So it was always going to be hard to justify giving, someone who had zero experience playing football a full ride. And I feel like that was always the problem because I had rapport with the strength coaches, the football strength coaches, and even, Saban himself, I've met him and said words to him. So like, it was always going to be a tricky bit, and that's why it never quite panned out that way.
It was funny, you say it was tricky, but you didn't have wrestling experience, right? And now you got gold on your shoulder. So I think football, something tells me you could have adapted had you wanted to, but I think you did the right thing. I
did, but like you get paid to be a wrestler. You get paid well if you're in my position. If you're the ruler, you
very well as a ruler.
But that was different, he couldn't give me how much I deserved. He couldn't give me that full ride, and that's why I couldn't do it.
That's what's up.
Well, little did he know, he probably saved somebody's life by him going into wrestling.
Right. Just to break someone's back, though.
Right. So, obviously, major news. I'm not sure if you're aware, but John Cena won his 17th world title. Talk to us a little bit about what that kind of looks like. Your eyes, a dude coming up in NXT, not quite on the main stage, but we know, like, I mean, you know Oba's going to the main stage. So, talk to us a little bit about John Cena, you know, just what he means to the business, if there's anything, if you've ever met him, and yeah, speak on the man with the 17 belts.
Mr. Hustle, loyalty, and respect. He's very synonymous with those three words, but I think one big word is missing: consistency. Boo him, cheer him, rain, sun, hell freezing over. John was always there. John always did his thing. So big respect to John. Funny you bring him up because I just had a very incredible full circle moment with John back there, because 2 years ago, before the North American Championship reign, before the NXT Championship reign, before I was even on television, he came to the PC and he watched me wrestle one of the Dark State boys, the Dion Lennox. So we had a PC live match. There are these matches we organize at the PC to, you know, just for the coaches to see where everybody is at. And John happened to be there, and he watched my match. He called me and Dion to the back. He talked to us for about 40 minutes. He gave us all his insights and everything he knew and he could possibly remember to tell us. He told us, and I just saw John back there 2 years later, longest reigning North American champion, NXT championship, all that, and he saw me and he said congratulations, and we shared a moment there, and that was awesome.
Can you share, or do you remember any like the little things, nuances he did share with you back then?
He taught me to always, fight for what I believe in. He also said, pick your battles wisely, because some people here fight for what you believe in and they feel like they can fight everybody for what they believe in. He kind of guided me to understand what battles are worth fighting for. He understands, there's always going to be a gap between talent and office. And he's a genius because he knows how to navigate those waters and those terrains perfectly to strike that balance between being one of the boys and doing what the office wants you to do. So he shared that knowledge with me, and it's been very helpful.
That's what's up.
Okay, now with obviously with it being Mania weekend, the Hall of Fame is there. Is there anybody that you ran into that you didn't meet before that you're excited to be able to cross paths with, any of the legends?
Ran into Ray Phoenix.
Okay.
Congratulations to him for signing with the WWE. He's awesome.
Excited to see what he's doing.
Beautiful moment for Ray Phoenix and Penta.
What was that?
I said it was a beautiful moment for Ray and Penta to both have Mania matches.
Yeah, that was incredible. They did awesome, man. That Fatal 4-way match was incredible. Ray versus Chad Gable was incredible. I enjoyed it. Congratulations to them.
Actually, it just hit me as you were mentioning John Cena, your conversation, what he meant. Is there any way, any chance, that maybe, or December, we get John Cena, Oba Femi, squared circle somewhere?
TJ, I love it.
Well, I think someone out there wants to know the answer to that question, right?
I wish, but he's in the twilight of his career. He's winding down. I'm just getting started. I don't know if our paths are going to cross in that fashion. I hope it does, but I don't think so.
So you know what? On the Rich Eisen show, we do this segment where a coach during a press conference will say something. He'll give you an answer, but we know maybe he was just saying what he was saying. So we'll play a drop that says, what were they really thinking? And then we'll say what they were really thinking. To me, what you were really thinking is, he's at the end, he's old, I'll break him, he doesn't want any.
Bro,
that's kind of what it seemed like.
You said slowing down? That was crazy. You said he's slowing down. Whoa, I mean, I saw the shot.
Yes, there's definitely that in my mind. That's definitely a factor. I'm in my prime, like I'm young, I'm spry. John is not the same. Respect to him, he's a champion right now, but I think I'm still Oba Femi, I'm still the ruler. Don't forget that. I just don't think our paths are going to cross in that fashion.
Man, well, we can only hope, right? We can always hope.
especially us as fans, we know the audience.
Someone's fantasy booking that right now, as a matter of fact. So.
All right, now we've spoken to you before. We've gotten this bar fight question. We've gotten the welcome to wrestling moment.
Got that out. Yep.
Something that they started to add into the Hall of Fame. They're adding matches. All right, they're adding WrestleMania matches. Is there a WrestleMania match that sticks out to you as one of your favorites that you can share with us that you would put in the Hall of Fame?
WrestleMania 31, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, with Rollins cashing in at the end. I think at some point that goes in the Hall of Fame for sure.
And it's funny, you said his name, so I'll now ask the question I wasn't going to, but now I will. You mentioned you were a shot putter. There's a daughter of a famous wrestler who's also a pretty good shot putter, and her name is Lesnar. So I'm thinking, two thoughts came to mind. One, she's gonna have to join the family business at some point.
Yeah.
And two, what would a matchup between Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi look like?
There's going to be carnage. There's going to be carnage. It's one of those things you have to see, and because you can't explain what it's going to be. I think Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar sells tickets. I think it's the main event of whatever show it's going to be on, and I think it's going to be crazy. Congratulations to his daughter. She's killing it. She was able to accomplish something I was never able to accomplish. She became NCAA champion. She's a national champion right now. I don't know if she's going to join the family business, because we always assume that just because the predecessor did something, the offspring will do the same. We always assume. It's not always the case. There's so many celebrities with children. You're like, well, what the hell did they do? They just chose not to do the family business. So whatever she chooses to do, I think she's going to be successful at it regardless.
Some start wrestling podcasts.
Yeah, bro.
Some children.
Bro, I started this because they put the actors on strike, and for 7 months I couldn't work. So it was about finding a job that I knew would never leave me. And that's wrestling.
So we're like, this is 52 weeks a year. There's no off season.
No off season. Every week, baby. Every week.
You're killing it, man.
Thank you.
All right, listen. Here at No Contest, you're like the local gardener, bro. You planted seeds for Oba versus John. You planted the seeds for Oba versus Brock.
I just want to get ahead of the internet. Pencil, Oba. Just give me the pencil. I'll book.
That's amazing, man. So, if you had is there any type of match, I should say, that we've obviously seen through these PLEs, whether that be, the big moments that Hell in a Cell's given us, the added drama that a Money in the Bank is always going to give you. Is there any of those matches that had PLEs named after them that you're excited to be a part of and that you wanted to sink your teeth into?
Yeah. Royal Rumble would be a good one.
Yeah.
As we already know,
That's a pretty solid one.
the ruler is very good at multi-man matches. So the Royal Rumble is the perfect scenario for the ruler to come in, throw in 29 other bombs out of the ring and win the damn thing.
Here's the problem though, when you get to the Rumble, they expect you to go on a full sprint. I don't see the ruler walks at his own pace. So, I mean, is that what would you keep the pace? Would you run? I can't say.
There's no point keeping the pace. If the other 29 guys are not keeping the pace, there's no reason for me to sprint. But here's the thing. My sprint and their sprint is different.
Okay.
My pace and their pace is also different. So their 5 and my 5 is better than their 5. So I'm still throwing out all 29 men and winning the damn thing.
There you go.
Dude, we gotta figure out. I mean, for him to be our first 2-time guest, bro.
Yeah.
We might name an award after you, bro. We didn't think this was gonna happen, man.
The Oba Femi Award.
Yeah. We gotta figure out something nice for you. Now, just because we have a live audience, I'm going to go back to our most famous question because you guys got to react. If you're not already subscribed to the No Contest Wrestling Podcast, which I don't know why you would be, and you're sitting here.
I know you are.
Come on, man. But you know the situation. 50 dudes in a bar, they don't want you in there. And I need you and a team of 4 other superstars to make sure the ruler makes it to the car. Who's on your team?
So is this NXT or overall?
Which I want, overall or just NXT? The people have spoken.
You said all time? Okay.
All time. So let's get the obvious one out of the way. Thou who shall not be named, the Lesnar. He's definitely my number
Love that
one
for
guy.
us.
Finley in his prime.
Yeah, I've heard stories about Finley back.
I've been he's old now, and even in his old age, he's still the man. Randy in his prime would be a good one. Randy Orton in his prime. How many guys? 5 guys?
Yeah, you need one more.
There's so many to pick for. Let's say Trick Williams.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Let's say Trick Williams. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Williams fan. I'm not a fan of the whole sports entertainer, flashy sunglasses inside type of. No shade.
That's crazy.
But I'm not a Trick Williams fan, but he has definitely earned my respect. I've done so many dances with that man on the big stage, even in classes with Terry Taylor. Me and Trick have gone the whole way. So Trick Williams is another one I would want behind my back.
Builds up a respect when you go to battle with a man like.
All right, okay. Just by you answering that way, there's something I need to know, and I might start asking people this question.
Okay.
So obviously at the Performance Center, it's a lot of learning, a lot of teachers. Who is the principal at the Performance Center? Who is the person you don't want to hear from as soon as they call you in there because they're about to put you through the ringer?
You're talking about coaches?
Yeah. When that name pops up, you in for it.
So different coaches have different icks. So depending on what you've done, that's what's going to determine what coach you would want to see versus what coach you wouldn't want to see. After a bad match, you wouldn't want to see like Sean or Matt Bloom because they'll tell you how it sucked, kid. They'll let you know what you've done. Terry Taylor is another one you wouldn't want to hear from. He's very passionate about this business. He's very passionate about wrestling. So he will nitpick you until you become the perfect wrestler. And until you get there, as we all know, perfection is impossible. So until you get there, you will hear it all from Terry Taylor. So overall, my pick would still be Terry Taylor because of how passionate he is about it and how much he has to say.
All right, bro. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but in CW, we've kind of become the go-to spot for NXT.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of NXT love on the podcast.
So now I'm gonna need to get a vote. So right now, Terry is in the lead.
Seems like it.
He's in the lead for the principal of the PC, man.
He might